A couple of questions coming for the cranium. Shall I ask those now?
Carry on, yeah.
Sarah, I too did not want to incarnate and fought it all the way. Can I ask Peter the kinds of reasons this may be? Because I've been blocked when asking elsewhere, and others say, well, you choose to incarnate. That is not a helpful answer. I have a lot of cranial work. Gary, can you ask the reasons?
Well, basically, yes, we do choose, but it doesn't mean you're going to change your mind when you get there. Basically, we choose everything, and everything seems a good idea at the time. Remember there's that film Magnificent Seven had the story when they asked him why they did what they did, and he said, well, the reason the man jumped in the cactus. It seemed a good idea at the time. And it's like we make decisions, but then later when you come to it, you think, oh, maybe it wasn't a good idea. You might have had the good reasons coming into incarnation. You get there and go, oh, I don't like this. Of course you're going to pull back. You suddenly see your parents, who your parents are, and the thought start carrying and all the negativity that they're about to come into, and you're going to pull back. It's quite natural. Happens quite a lot, actually. So naturally, when you actually deal with these death wishes, you actually go into those first thoughts. In your memory, you're going to go, what would it like to incarnate, and see when you first see your parents and feel what's going on in their minds. It's interesting when we actually do the cranial work, and also when you do the lower part of the spine, the sacroiliac joint, you actually release the thought patterns of your mother and father at the time of conception. So it's not just at birth, already when you conceived, your soul's coming in. It's drawn into this vortex for these two people, and suddenly you feel all their thought patterns and what you're being drawn into. And that's the point you're going to panic and not like it. You saw a lot of people go through that on that particular session, either sacroiliac joint or the palate when we did the cranial. You go through those thought patterns with mother and father conception. You remember why you didn't want to come in. And there's always good reason, is because, like, parents are never perfect. You come in and there's all this stuff going on there. You're going to have a hard time. Maybe they don't want you. They're just having like a bonk when the lights off and the power cut or whatever. And it's like they're not ready for you. They're in conflict. They feel pressurized that they're going to have a child now, whatever. There's so many conflicts in their minds that you pick up. You don't feel safe. You don't feel welcome. Although you might see all the emotional stuff, it might be abusive, and it's going to be a hard time. Of course, you pull back. You don't want to go there. But also, there are even bigger reasons. Sometimes when you come into this incarnation, you've already worked out certain kind of patterns you're going to go through, these life lessons. Yet then suddenly realize, oh no, this is going to be really hard in life. Well, these lessons are going to come up. Let's just run away. I don't really want to do them after all. Now I'm close to it. It's like it doesn't seem so nice. So when you're in pure awareness, you can make any choice, and there's no judgment. Nothing is real yet. You're not experiencing it, so it's quite distant. So the choice you make there, you don't necessarily know how they feel. You come into incarnation, suddenly, oh, now it feels real. It doesn't feel nice. So all our pains and everything were created, and not because we have got any bad karma, such as people often think. It's simply because pure awareness can play any game without judgment. Let's create this and see what it's like. You get there, oh, I don't like this. Let's not create it again. But actually, instead, people resist it and therefore do create it again, and this really gets stuck. So you come into incarnation, there's all this stuff you're going through, and you panic. Once you actually feel like you don't like it, it's quite natural. So what you do in that point in holding, you go through those feelings, what you stored up, when it's released, you don't have to create those problems anymore. That's the thing. You have to welcome the feeling in order to actually discreate. Then the problems don't happen. When you first come into incarnation, you might be aware that there's all these problems going to happen in life that you have to deal with. And nobody's taught you how to deal with it yet. There's a problem. You're born there. Nobody tells you how to deal with the dysfunctional parents. Nobody teach you how to deal with the horrible teachers at school. You learn this when you grow up. You go through that childhood first, or not having the tools to actually deal with life. So, of course, it's really hard to come into incarnation. There's lots of reasons why you want to turn back and not be there. The main thing to realize, though, is once you welcome those feelings, you can discreate it all. You don't do it as a child, but you can do it now. You see, those decisions are still with you. If you didn't want to come into incarnation, you're still busy life now. Still holding to this pattern, it's going to be hard, you don't like it, not fully here, therefore not actually fully expressing your power. When you actually release that and take control, discreate what you don't want and create what you want, you feel enthusiastic about being here again. You make your stand, you claim your place on the earth, you stand in your power. So it's all about actually having the tools to know how to deal with life.
Lynn Marie, I also did not want to be here. I cried for 6 months from the moment I was born. Strange, because my mum basically skipped any labour and I was born in half an hour. It just slipped right out. But then I cried and cried after that for 6 months.
Well, the birth might be easy, but it's like what's happened in between. See, the whole 9 months from conception up to birth, it's like there's all kinds of stuff you pick up from your mother. And, and maybe it was too fast as well. That can happen. You haven't had the experience of what it's like to be born, didn't transition enough to actually, it was too much of a shock. Sometimes it's not always good to be fast. Suddenly out and it's all on by now, it's a shock. And it's hopefully the shock you're releasing at that time. But you know, you don't know until you go back and experience it. When the old points of the experience that, you'll remember what you're crying about. You release the grief and it's all out. But obviously there's those first weeks of crying, this is your first experience of life. It actually conditions how you can see life from then on. And it's like, if that's how you come into life, it's not a good conditioning, is it? That's an important one to release. Reminds you of the old days, maybe the old days used to like pick up a baby and give it a slap to make it cry. That's your first impression of what life's going to be all about. Think about that one.
Oh, you mean when the baby's born?
Yeah, they used to give him a slap to make him cry, didn't they? That was a traditional thing, just to make sure the lungs are working. Imagine that's your first experience of life. This is what life's all about. Whack. Yeah, it's going to condition how you see life from there on.
Can it help with ALS?
It can help with everything. See, everything has a cause in the consciousness. And obviously some of it's nutritional too. There's some nutrients missing. We stop the brain developing, stop certain nerve factors and developing. And so the nutrition program, as well as a point holding, will actually correct everything. But you get nutrients in there as well as releasing traumas, then everything rebuilds as it should be, and everything is functional.
Miriam, I'm dreaming of coming to Thailand. Sadly, there is only a small possibility that I will be strong enough to travel, partly due to severe muscular difficulties, plus inability to lift anything heavier than a melon. Pack lightly then, Miriam. A bit of a risk of muscular injury whilst traveling because of my jaw, unless I have a big improvement in the next few weeks. My concern, if I'm able to come, that I would be needing to ask people for help with physical things like lifting a lot, which might not be fair on the group. I don't want to, well, you'd be a perfect trigger then. Hey, Miriam, I don't want to ask for more help than I am. Notice the triggering that you've got right now, Miriam. I don't want to ask for more help than I'm able to give back to the group, as this would not be fair. So maybe I should wait till next year, plus hoping I can heal all of this by myself at home, plus online. May be difficult without spinal work. However, I do feel a strong pull to come, plus be able to actually profoundly heal these disabilities.
Practically, I'd say wait till we're doing 1 week in July in Holland, so that'll be much easier for you to get to, so we can work on you then. But apart from that, as Carrie was saying, you can look at these very triggers there. This whole thing you have to give tit for tat, it doesn't work that way. We're all willing to give in order to receive. We're not trying to balance it out, it has to be equal all the time. First, to understand that's when you really learn what we call exalted love. It's about gaining through giving. You don't give to get back, you give because the giving expands you. Therefore, you're not measuring it has to be 50-50. Exalted love doesn't work that way. It's 100 nothing. Instead of exalted love, you give of yourself to stretch yourself and make yourself more. Everybody benefits. I'm not expecting anything back because I'm growing and expanding and making myself more by giving of my strengths, expanding them. That's not the same as giving away what I have. Giving of your strength is a whole different thing. I'm not expecting anybody to give back equally. I'm encouraging them to give at their own level because they have to learn to give too, because it's actually expanding themselves. But you give your strength, so you don't have to try and match it with it. It's not about trying to equal, it's not being unfair, not feeling guilty if you can't do it. These are all issues you're going to have to look at and release. This is all past conditioning, when people put pressure on you, saying, selfishly lazy, you can't do this, or this shame dumped on you. This has to be released too. So, you can start working that straight away, you're aware of that. Release all those emotions. There's really nothing expected of you. You're going to do your best, that's all. And when you give, you expand. When people give to you, they expand, and therefore they're grateful that they can give to you. See what I mean? It's not the same as actually taking. That's not the same thing. Everybody's giving all their strengths to become more. If I give my best unconditional love, I'm not only healing you, I'm healing myself. I'm expanding myself. If I'm holding a space of enthusiasm, I'm expanding me as well as everybody else around me. I'm benefiting. Nobody else can stop that from, it doesn't stop me if somebody else can't give, it stops them. So therefore, I'm not jealous if I give somebody more than they're giving back to me. It doesn't work that way. I encourage them to give as much as they can because it's good for them. I give as much as I can because it's good for me. It doesn't have to be 50-50. It doesn't have to come back. It's not about trying to be fair and have to balance the scales. This is all old conditioning that we don't need. Life isn't really like that. Just be willing to do your best. Whatever comes up, welcome it. If you feel guilty, welcome it and let it go. Remember that the guilt is only anger you don't forget that I right to have. You might be angry at yourself because you can't give. Okay, welcome that. You release it, that's part of the problem. Maybe you'll heal by doing that. See how this works? All these physical weaknesses have emotions behind them. The very fact that you can't move physically these emotions of feeling bad are all part of that condition. So feel the guilt, feel the things I can't do it, feel it won't be fair, I can't ask because I can't give back. These are all issues that you have to come up and release. You can start doing that right now. Now you're aware of it. It's already triggered you, but the thought of getting there might not be able to do it. So the process starts already, whether you get there or not. It's all about how you deal with it. But for the actual physical point holding, let's say for you in that case, wait to July and come to Holland, it won't be as far for you. It won't be as long, and we can be more manageable. You've got more time to get yourself ready.
But just to confirm, when you go to Holland, you're doing endocrine glands only, is that correct?
For people who've done it before, I'll work on whatever you need to work on. We won't be doing cranial, but we can do spine points as well in that process.
I'll skip down to this one. As Miriam was brave, I too have problems traveling. I really want to go, but realistically my pain levels have been so high I can't sleep on any other mattress but my own. I've not had a proper holiday since 2007, not got a passport anymore. Thailand may be too unrealistic, but next year or Holland, if in English, and getting a passport may not be impossible. I'm worried about sleeping with pain more than anything. I admit I use cannabis to help that. It's legal here in Thailand.
Yeah, but I'm not encouraging it simply because it's numbing out. Then we won't actually put you through your pain to heal it. Thing is, when you start working the body, it's going to be painful. You press all the painful points to elicit pain, so it comes up and your body will burn, you get kind of going in the heel. We push you through the pain now, the other end. Chances are you do it far better in the group because you won't put yourself through that. We will though. It's very loving, but it doesn't mean we hold back on the pain. You press where it hurts, raise the kundalini, encourage you to go right through it all. You'll go through the pain out the other end and heal, basically. So if you're afraid of pain, I'd say go for it. But don't go for the cannabis. That's numbing it out and not feeling it. I'd say come off the cannabis, feel the pain, go through it, and you'll go through everything and heal. When you're ready, as I said, there are layers. If you're not ready to feel the pain, first of all, because there's fear, you go through the fear first and so on. Just be willing to go for whatever you're feeling. Welcome it all. And when you're ready to feel the pain, you come along.
Can I come a day or two late? Is that possible?
It's possible. It's not ideal, but we can catch up on it. You'll come into the group. See, this is where it's useful that you've done the online course first, because you know what you're doing. You can come straight into point holding without so much loss. Before, when everything did at once, you have to know what's long. If you missed a day, you'd kind of not know what you're doing. Having done the online course, at least you know what it's going to be about. We can put you straight in there. The point holding, we can kind of catch up you up in a way. So it's not the end of the world.
And obviously people, well, you arrive whenever you want to arrive, but starting on Monday the 8th, and then you can speak to me, Penelope, just to make sure that we can get you a very swift transition into Thailand, into Chiang Mai, and then straight into the course. So you're not having to figure out travel arrangements on your own. Peter, what's the most memorable transformations that you've observed in people?
Oh, there's some very powerful physical ones. But one year, there was a guy who had a Harrington rod. You know, the Harrington rods are still rods up when you're spine to hold it straight. When you've had a damage, they kind of put steel rods to pin it in place. Funny thing, the surgeon who actually put it there was also in the course. And so, he was quite surprised when it vanished. This time, we actually had to work on that spine for a total of 18 hours over 2 days. We hadn't finished, we came in the next day. It burned so much, actually burned all the vinyl off the treatment bench. This time, we had the Sarge couches we're lying on. It got so hot, it actually melted the vinyl. And after the 18 hours of burning, the rods weren't there anymore. They'd gone. The surgeon who put them there was checking and couldn't believe they'd gone. He was there, so you saw it.
And I remember in the course when I was there, someone reliving a heart attack. Well, not reliving a heart attack, obviously. No, you didn't have the heart attack.
That's why I say we know if we can read it in the eye, we know it's going to happen. We can be ready for it. We check his pulse. And realize it's quite normal. It's only a memory. That's all he had to do these things. But he was going through all the symptoms. It looked like he was having a heart attack.
Yeah, that was very emotional. That one, being able to observe someone releasing all of that.
He wasn't just a heart attack. He actually went through surgery. Went through the actual memory of heart surgery when he felt the cut and everything.
I remember it was very, very emotional. Hearing someone releasing that. As in emotional, as in you really felt so grateful that someone is able to release something like that, and that they've actually been holding that in. Yeah, I remember that one.
They're still there to release it. I mean, even with surgery, for instance, because under anaesthetic, you're storing all that pain. Sometimes you just point holding all the pain of the operation comes out. All the damage done by surgery has to be healed.
And I think the same guy couldn't move his jaw or something. He hadn't been able to move his jaw for years. And
That's
then
right.
you did a session, he did one session, and then all of a sudden there was just movement. I
Exactly.
can't, it was something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, the same guy. Yeah, so obviously he had
Yeah.
things, a lot of damage there. Thing is, we know when you've had surgery, you often cut nerve lines and things. When you go to the pain, you rebuild those nerve pathways.
Mm. Miriam, great to hear you say all that, Peter. Is a week long enough, though? I was thinking of waiting till you do a 2-week course. Are you likely to do that this year in Europe? There's no spinal work in Holland, or maybe 1 week is long enough to heal these muscular
You'll go through
difficulties and
something.
make traveling worthwhile.
What happens in this week? It's like, although it's not a spinal week, we can do spine points if necessary, because it's for those who've been there before, we simply carry on where you left off what you need. So we can do spine points. We don't do cranial on it, but we can do spine points in week 1 if we need to. So we'll do what you need. And 1 week's better than nothing, it's like it's not so far to go to Holland for me, but it's an hour's flight, basically, an easy one. So that's an easy one if you want to do it. But it's not as good as 2 weeks, but it's what we got. I haven't seen after that, but we'll at some point, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I've seen Peter's calendar for the year. It's not happening in 2023, I don't believe, unless something changes. Barbara, I remember someone who'd been abducted by aliens, and they put things in his eyes which the point holding removed. You could see them and then see that they had gone.
Oh yeah, interesting one. We are able to recognize some crystal implants in the brain that shows little white circles in the medulla area. It was this guy who's always messing with aliens. It seemed to be his big obsession in life. He even made this play in London called E.T. the Musical Comedy. Everything was about aliens with him. And he kept being abducted. He used to fly a little plane. When he was up in the clouds, he used to suddenly lose half an hour or so because he kept being abducted. He'd come back, and next year there'd be another implant in his brain. So he'd run out and out. Next year he came back, there were 4 in a row. They're trying to make absolutely sure. So there's this game going on, they put implants in and we'd run them out again. He'd go to the memory, he'd sort what they looked like and how it was done.
Only with Peter.
Who else will do it?
Stefan, how are Thai customs about all the enzymes and minerals you have to bring to keep up with the nutrient saturation?
Well, you have to bring a few. They probably won't search your luggage for things like that. I mean, ordering them is difficult because if I order them in, I can't get enough already because they put a stop on it because it's like you have to have the right licensing thing. If I order supplements, I can get 2 or 3 bottles, for instance, no problem. So you can bring enough for yourself. That's not a problem.
Yeah, and there are ones that you can buy here in Thailand, probably not as good as quality as you'd be able to order where you are and bring them, but there are ones that you can get.
You can get the now plant enzymes at some of the chemists, but I'd begin to be sure. If you get them and bring them with you, it's much better. Yeah,
definitely. And then question number 2, do you plan to keep on doing these retreats for a couple more years in the future in Thailand if we can't make it this year?
I don't know where I'll be doing them yet, but I'll be doing somewhere. If it's working well, yes, we'll carry on doing more in Thailand. I might do in Europe as well.
What in-person points would be helpful for letting go?
They all are, because every single point you're holding, you're releasing something. And letting go, actually the best way that is stored is actually large intestine. You get constipated because you can't let go. Basically, that is letting go. So intestine points are great for that.
I've never been to Thailand before, so could you also suggest things to do if we spend some extra time touring around? Absolutely, I bloody can.
There's an ancient reserve nearby. We can go for walks. It's beautiful.
Yeah, definitely you can make recommendations across the entire land of Thailand. I've been to Thailand multiple times. Obviously, I live here in Chiang Mai, so I can definitely make some wonderful recommendations to do locally around the city. And as Peter says, around the national park and Chiang Mai and its surrounding area. Chiang Mai area is actually huge. It covers hours and hours. Like you could drive for 4 hours. What's that? What?
All the beaches as well, beautiful sandy beaches with palm trees and clear blue water.
Not in Chiang Mai.
I know where to get out to the sea for that, yeah.
Yeah, so the district of Chiang Mai lasts for, it's very large. You could drive for 4 hours and you're still in Chiang Mai. And there's beautiful mountains, beautiful nature reserves. So definitely make lots of recommendations here. But also if you wanted to take a short flight and you wanted to explore other parts of the country, like as Peter is describing, beaches and palm trees and coconuts and hammocks, I can certainly make many recommendations as well. You don't have to go all the way to the south. There's islands that you can visit and beaches that you can visit that are a lot closer. So you don't have to do a full day's travel like I have done today. You could do it in a couple of hours. So yes, lots of travel recommendations I can make just to let you know what you want to experience. And that's what my plan, huh?
And watching Muay Thai fights.
And watch me fight Muay Thai. I'm being serious. I want to ask for a fight on the weekend prior to the course starting. So if anyone wants to come in early, then they can watch me fight, or maybe at the end. No, I wouldn't do it at the end. I wouldn't be able to hold myself up in the ring. Could you imagine?
They can fix all your injuries afterwards.
Yeah, we did before. Where is the course held in Thailand? It's in Chiang Mai. It's in a small village just outside of the city centre. The village is called Pong Noi. I've got a little information PDF, so anyone interested in joining, I can provide. We will provide you with that PDF where I've given you information about the location of the course. Oh, I thought it started to rain. Information about where the course is being held, information about local things to do, travel, accommodations. You get all of that good stuff so that you can start planning a little bit before. Some great Tai Chi teachers have set up shop in Chiang Mai too. There's many great teachers for everything. So Chiang Mai is a huge a hub of variety for many things. So I do highly recommend, if you do want to come, that you do come early or late. Or leave late so that you can explore some of the wonderful things that is on offer around, because Thailand, if you're going to do weird and wonderful things, this is the place to do it. Nearest international airport, Chiang Mai. You can fly direct into Chiang Mai, or you can fly into Bangkok and then just get a 1 hour transfer flight from Bangkok. So yeah, you fly into Bangkok. I can't say it. Suvarnabhumi. I don't know how you say it. That begins with an S.
Yeah.
And then just get an internal connecting flight for 1 hour north to Chiang Mai. Or if you really want to be adventurous, and I highly recommend this too because it's so much fun, you can actually get the overnight train from Bangkok to Chiang Mai. It's definitely something to be experienced. If you've never peed through a hole on a moving train, that's what you get to do if you get the overnight train. You pee, and it just make sure you don't do it as you're about to pull into a station or pulling out from a station, because there are the windows. It's like being in it. The windows are open. There's nothing to stop anyone looking at you peeing and watching you pee fall on the railway track. So just don't do that. Like I said, it's an adventure. Please do a lottery workshop, Peter, ASAP, so that we can all win and spend our winnings in Thailand.
You just got a manifestation workshop, so you can all manifest it if you want to. Doesn't have to be a lottery. That's very limited thinking.
Yes, so the link to the recording, if we could have that put in the chat, that would be amazing, for the manifestation workshop that happened yesterday. But also just to let you know some practicalities of the payments, that there is split payment opportunities for you. Peter, do you want to talk about that?
Yes, and it's okay if you were still paying afterwards as well, rather than actually paying beforehand. We can do like over a few months or something, so even good only before the course, you can carry on paying a little bit afterwards, and we can be flexible with that. So that's not a problem. Yeah.
Keep the practical questions coming in. Oh, great! That the practical information has been added. Yeah. And if you've got any other practical information about Thailand, either how to get here, what to do whilst you're here, how to get from your hotel to the course, message me in MeWe and I'll be able to answer you. No question is a silly question. Thanks, Barbara. Thank you, my love.
Think about it.
Oh, the other thing to state as well is that you don't have to come for the full 3 weeks. Is that right, Peter?
One, you can do 2 or you can do 3. You can't do cranial lap during the first 2 weeks, but you can actually either do 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. But you have to do the first one before the last ones. See what I mean? Yeah.
Where are the accommodations? There are hotels literally 5-minute drive from the venue itself. I've listed a couple. You can also search for yourself, and you can stay anywhere. You can stay in the city centre. You can stay in the village near where we will be doing the course. If you go to the city centre, then you would need to obviously make your way to the venue every day. If you drive a scooter, that's very easy to do. It's a 15-minute drive. or you can order a scooter, or you can order a taxi car. If there are a few of you in the city centre, then you could share the taxi car. I don't recommend, if you've never driven a scooter, it's not Koh Phangan.
No.
It's not easy and free and you know, all hippie vibes and everyone's love and light. This is a city. So if you've never driven a scooter, I do not recommend you learn to drive it here. No, absolutely not. But if you choose to stay in the village, then again, it's a very easy 5-minute ride on a taxi bike. No Uber, Grab is the Uber. That's the option. So you can either get a Grab bike or you can get a Grab car. If you get a Grab bike, it would take you like 3 minutes to get from the hotel to the venue, and it would cost you like, I don't know, I just drove for 20 minutes and it cost me 170 baht, which is
awkward.
Like £4, and that was for a 20-minute drive on a scooter. So a 3-minute drive on a scooter, 70 baht, like a pound, or something. There's also the Dragon Magic workshop afterwards. Yes, so if anyone wants to hang around after the point holding and then do the Dragon Magic too, that's going to be super exciting. Dates for the Dragon Magic.
Especially just as your cranial done with your powers amplified, you know, that's when you really feel it.
Yeah, so the dates for the Dragon Magic, I do believe that's the 30th and the 31st of May, I think, off the top of my head. Yeah. And as I said, the venue is right on the border of the national park. So during the breaks, you can go for a wonderful walk in nature. You can sit in the gardens of where we will be. You can have a little wander around the village of where we will be. It's a very cute village. There's a temple right next to it. Any place to stay that is walking distance to the venue? Not that I'm aware of.
Depends
not that I'm aware of. Yeah, it depends on how far you want to walk. You could search Airbnb, but I don't believe that there is something in direct walking distance. Not anywhere that you would want to stay. Let's put it like that. For those of you who have not been to Thailand, the standards can vary. And if you've never been to Thailand before and your standards aren't used to some of the standards, you will definitely want to stay in a hotel. I thought there was accommodation at the venue. No. I actually on the information page, there's a venue video where I show you the venue where we will be doing it. There is accommodation, but it's not for you. It's a bedroom and I'm sleeping in it. Is there a link to the information package? Yep, it's just been given above.
There we go. Yeah.
Let's do it again. I think it is raining. Oh no, it's the cicada bugs.
Oh, of course.
There we go. Yeah. And if you want, on your days off, if you want something wonderful and recreational to do, again, you can ask me and I can recommend some beautiful hikes. I can recommend some incredible temples for you to go and visit. Again, if you're in a group, you can all jump in the same car, or if you're happy to drive a scooter, you can go out and be fancy free. I can recommend incredible drives to do on a scooter if you are a proficient driver. Lots of things that you can do in and around the city of Chiang Mai. You can't fly anywhere though in a day. Yes, there's one day off in between each of the weeks. Oh, there's someone asked a question about the structure. What is the breakdown of the 3 weeks?
Basically, you've got 6 days and you've got Sunday off. You're doing point holding every day, basically. We tend to do 2 long sessions. You've got lunch break in between, because a session with point hold can go on 2, 3, even 4 hours. It depends on your process. You find that as you get on with the week, because you're going really deeply, you tend to have quite long sessions. So you're doing 2 point holding sessions every day. So you swap over, you get one done one day, then you go to the next person, so on. So you're basically doing 2 sessions of point holdings a day. First week's all about the body work, like we'd be doing on the online course, finding the glandular points. Second week, work on the spine, checking the whole spine for any little lesions and any calcifications to make sure it's all clear. Third week's cranial. It takes we take at least 5 days to do a cranial. We'd like to have a bit extra time to make sure everything's complete. So last week's all cranial work. So basically doing point holding every day. All day.
It's intensive. That's why it's called the intensive. And then the evenings you're recuperating generally and getting your energy levels back up, ready for the next day.
And we're providing raw food there as well.
Yeah. Something else. Could we please have the link to the deposit page? So those of you that are interested and you do want to come, you can pay your deposit now.